I want to introduce to you our last speaker, but by no means the least, last keynote speaker for today. She's a dedicated medical doctor with 7 years of experience. That's on top of the 7 years that they spent in school. You remember back when we were young and said that you'll be a medical doctor, like, I cannot go and spend 7 years in school. This is you that spent 3 years, you have graduated, 7 years in chômage. You don't have it. Life is funny. Well, our keynote speaker is a dedicated medical doctor with 7 years experience. She's based in the northwest region of Cameroon and a proud graduate of the first batch of medical doctors from the University of Bamenda. I want us to put our hands together for that because I remember the story. Yeah, I remember the story surrounding medical studies in Bamenda, and it wasn't the easiest for them. And apart from the studies, I imagine it was very disturbing to be a student in that department because there was so much uncertainty. Would this work? Would this work? Would the doctors be taken? Would they have jobs? There was so much uncertainty. So every time I see somebody from that badge, as much as possible, I want to let them know that I respect them so much because the amount of fortitude that it took for them to stay those 7 years, because there's a fear that you're wasting your time, that you can leave and then they tell you that the degree is not. All right, she's also a holder of a master's in public health in healthcare management from UNICAF, Zambia. She has served as a general practitioner at 2 major hospitals in Bamenda, where she took charge of the unit for the management and prevention of non-communicable diseases. During the onset of COVID-19, she led the first COVID-19 treatment center in the region. All of us here we all saw what COVID-19, how it changed our lives, and how it changed the lives of the West, and how that affected us. So to have a woman stand in front and say that I would be the face of the fighters against these diseases. During that time, nobody was talking really to doctors and nurses. Nobody, because it almost felt like they were the ones who knew the minute that you would die. So very proud to learn that a woman was at the head of that at the in the northwest region. And in this job, she effectively coordinated teams to provide diagnostic and prevention services to the general population. She is also a cohort 8 fellow of the International Program for Public Health Leaders, and she has excelled as a health administrator, serving as the coordinator for the Regional Technical Group for Tuberculosis Control. In this role, she implements policies and advocates for increased access to TB care services. Ladies and gentlemen, to talk to us today about redefining community and building supportive networks, please put your hands together. I want a thunderous applause as we welcome Dr. Mercy Magdalene Suri Fundo. I will come running to your arms.
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much. This is such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to have such a platform and such an opportunity to speak to all of you today. We are going to go straight ahead into the presentation. It's going to be very engaging. So if you are on your phone or you fall asleep, you may meet something very important and you don't know where we are. So I will be speaking on redefining community, building supportive networks. And as you can see, the trend of the summit, we have been building up, and this has come to kind of crown all what we have been saying here from the beginning. So if someone can help me with the slide. Slide, please. Okay. So if we can just ask ourselves, what is a community? There are so many ways you can define a community, but I have just chosen 2 very simple ways to define it. First of all, using a geographical location. We talk about a group of people living in the same place. You can call that a community. For example, the quarter where you are saying, you can say the community of Behind Chair or in Tarikon or in Tarsen or wherever you are staying. And then the second is based on characteristics. We're talking about a group of people with the same interests and values that forms a community. Right here at the Bloom Summit 2025, Bloomers 2025 is already a community because we have some shared interests. There are some certain things that cut across each and every one of us that brought us here together. So this is already a community. Slide, please. And then why is it important to build or to define your community? It's so important, firstly, because your community influences who you are. Your community can define who you are. Your community can make or break who you are. Those who you surround yourself with can actually help expose you to better opportunities or can block you from some opportunities. Just taking a lay example, there are some quarters we know in town here that have serious electricity issue. Just because you are staying in that quarter, you already have limited access to electricity. And there are some people staying in some other quarters that have perfect access to electricity just from being in that community without any other factor coming into play. Now, when we extend out of geographical location and we talk about people, we talk about places, there are some certain milieus where some certain opportunities will never meet you until you move into a community where those opportunities are found. That is why it is very important that you need to build all those around you and you need to define the kind of community that you need to find yourself in. Slide, please. And it's important to say, just keying in with what Madam Lois Iwu said, when she talked about if you are the best in your group of friends, then it means that there is a problem. Talking about surrounding yourself with people that will constantly push you to elevate yourself. Once your community does not serve any of your purposes, it's time to redefine that community. It means that you have become very complacent. It means that you have found yourself in a very too comfortable, lukewarm space. And once you find yourself in such a community, you need to get out of it. And getting out of it meaning you need to redefine the people that surround you, or the opportunities that surround you, or the presence that surrounds you. Slide, please. How do you do that? I think of all the slides, this is the most important here. How do you redefine your community? First of all, you need to define your values. I'm very happy Madam Renette and also Madam Lois mentioned aspects, as well as Madam Neris mentioned aspects on values. It is your values that is going to help you to redefine your community. Just as the panel started speaking on mentorship, your values need to align, your community that you surround yourself with need to align with the values that you see for yourself. Once your community values are out, separated from what your values are, then you don't fit into that community anymore. So first of all, you need to define your values. What are your values? What are the key things that makes you who you are? And what are the key things that will take you to where you want to be? That's how we are going to look at values today. What do you consider most important to you in your personal and your professional space? We've been saying a lot here and speaking, for example, about gender bias and issues that affect certain genders. There are some ladies who the highest value or the highest thing of value to them is probably marriage and having children. And when you surround yourself with such people, if you are someone who wants to become an entrepreneur, someone who wants to become a CEO of an organization, when you surround yourself with someone whom that is where she has set a limit, do you think that person is really going to make such an influence in your life? Mind you, I'm not saying being a mother, I'm not minimizing being a wife or being a mother. I am one myself. But I am just saying, using that as an example to tell you that those whom you surround yourself around with have to have the same values with you. There are some of us that don't wish to be entrepreneurs, someone like me. If you give me a business, stories that touch will follow you. I don't know how to handle a business. If you tell me to sell, because you see as I'm speaking, I can convince someone, If I want you to buy something, I can talk here, and you see yourself buying without knowing. So if you put me as a sales personnel in your shop, in your business, know that you have put me in a good position. But if you put me in a position where I have to be the one to balance account, to order the chicken, to check, measure if the rice will be okay, and especially in business, to make financial decisions, specifically for business, my heart goes your cut. When I hear business people say, I go market today, no man even ask me whether the sell are waiting. I think if I have such a day, I will just sit on the floor and be crying. So I am saying that what you value in yourself, or the things that you think you need to get to where you want to be, you must look for people who have the same things, who are looking for the same values, for you to enter into their community, such that they can hold your hand and take you up there, as well as encourage you and take you up there. So just as I've been saying, those who you surround yourself with, do they align with the same values as you? Now we are talking about questions you ask yourself to evaluate your community, to evaluate your networks. Look at those around you. Do they actually have the same values? Do they actually have the same mentality, or the keen mentality that you need to have to go up to the next level? If you are seeing that most of your answers to these questions are on the negative side, it means that probably that community is not for you, and you need to redefine it. Does your career path, relationship, bring purpose to those values? Question. Where you are today, if you are someone who is, like I have a young lady who I'm following up now, that's someone who, right from when she was writing O-level, she told me that she wanted to become a medical doctor. And she said she wants me to mentor her on that path to become a medical doctor. Right from when she had not even had, she was in Form 4 then. She has written the GCE this year, and we're waiting for her results. So you see that right from back, and I'm very happy with the kind of mother that she has, because her mother was always texting me, even when she wanted to choose the series to do. I was like, no, mommy, you know that she has to do science. She said yes, but she just wanted to hear from me to be sure that what she wants to do is already aligning right from a young age. So you ask yourself that question: your career path, your relationship, does it tie with the values that make you who you are? Does it tie with those values that you need to go to the next stage in your life? If you are having negative answers on this aspect, then you need to redefine your values. Slide, please. Okay. So building a supportive network also means that you are playing a supportive role in that community. Please don't be a taker only. Be a giver, be a contributor. That is one aspect that many of us fail in. Just as what Madame Lois Iwu said, that you should not be comfortable in a milieu where you are the best. Because you must always find yourself in a balance where you can help others come up, and there are people helping you to come up. And don't ever think you have nothing to offer. That's the biggest scam. Don't ever think you have nothing to offer. Don't ever think somebody only needs to help you, and there is, because no matter what you are doing, there's always someone coming below you. Where I am today, it seems like, oh, I'm coordinating a program for the whole Northwest region. But then again, there is somebody coordinating the program for the whole country. There is somebody coordinating the program for the whole of West African region. There is somebody coordinating the program for the whole of Africa. There is somebody coordinating the program globally. So I have people that are mentoring, and there are people who are also mentoring me. So you need to understand it in that way. You must find yourself in a milieu where there is a balance. All right. Then your relationship must be meaningful, and it must be nurturing. You must be, just have spoken about mentorship, you must be able to nurture all those who are below you. Your network should cut across various aspects for your being. I'm happy we started speaking about this in mentorship. Because when it comes to, let me say, personal life, things like marriage, motherhood, fatherhood, husbandhood, wifehood, there may be a certain mentor that you have in that for you to attain your goals in that aspect. When it comes to your career, You may need a mentor for that aspect. When it comes to your professional life, you may need a mentor for that aspect. So your community should cut across. If they say, if you have a pertinent thing in your marriage, who do you go to? You will say, there's this particular person that I know I can talk to. What if you have a challenge at work? I know that I can talk to this person. What if you have a family problem? Maybe your brother is giving you headache, or you have some issues with your in-laws, or your kids are giving you some headache. You know that you can go to this person. Those group of people that you can go to make up your community and make up your network. Same thing when it comes to mentorship. Those people who can come to you concerning various challenges or aspects concerning their lives also make up your network and your community. Okay, I've spoken a lot. There's a certain activity I want us to carry out. Slide, please. I just termed it a value building exercise. It's going to be very participatory. We have some basic instructions for that activity. In the next slide, you will see a random list of values. There are so many values. I just selected a few. A random list. I think there are about 50 values that are there. You take a few minutes to glance through all of the values, and you pick the top 5 values that you feel are most important to you. The top 5 out of 50. You pick just 5 that you feel are most important to you. Before picking, you have to evaluate and ask yourself, what are the top 5 things that I want someone to see in me? What are the top 5 things that if I have to present myself anywhere, maybe these are the 5 characteristics that someone can use to define me. And when you have that, those top 5, you are going to write them on a piece of paper and hold on to that paper. And after that, we'll move on to the next step of the exercise. Slide, please. Okay, it's just that those on this section are not really seen. I don't know how I'll be able to manage that, because the values are on the slide. There are 50 of them. I feel even if I read them, you will lose track of it. So you actually need to be in a sitting area where it's visible. So I don't know if you can move, take a look. After picking your top 5, you can go back to your seat. That's a possibility. So we have a few minutes. I'm going to give maybe about 3 minutes for you to look at this list of values and write down the top 5 that you feel, one, either describes you, or the top 5 that you need to move on to the next aspect in your life, or the top 5 that you feel will be essential to the community that you find yourself in to move on to the next stage. I'm sure some of us are looking at it and you are like, how do I even pick? Because there are like 20 or 25 of them that I want to write down. And that is why it's important for you to know yourself and to define what you want for yourself. If you don't know what you want for yourself, it's very easy for you to get lost in something like this. So out of these 50, pick just 5. And you pick the 5. Either you want those 5 to be what people can attribute or describe you as. 5 values that you feel are essential for you to take you to the next stage in your life. Or 5 values that you want to see in the community or the people you surround yourself with. If you are done writing, just give a brief wave so that I know if we are done or not. Okay, many hands are still down, so we'll still give a couple of minutes. baby is really caught up trying to define what his values are, and it's so, in fact, it's not an easy exercise for him. Okay, if we are done writing, can we wave so that I know where we are? We still have a lot of hands down from this area, so we'll still give a few minutes. We'll give 2 minutes again. For the continuation of this exercise, we are going to need some volunteers. I think the instructions are on the next slide, but if you are coming up to volunteer, you should come up with a lot of sincerity, because you may be required to answer some very personal questions about yourself. But it's a good exercise when you participate in it, so I encourage people to actually opt and come up to participate. I would like one of the protocol to come up as well to assist me. Okay, I'm sure we should have all taken down our 5 particular values. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, like I indicate, we are going to need some volunteers. You may require to answer some personal questions about yourself. If you are volunteering, you come up to the front with the paper you have written your values on. When you come up, you hand over that paper to me. You pick out of the cards. I have some question cards with this protocol here. She's going to spread the cards. You randomly pick anyone. You can turn them the other side so that they don't see the questions. Yes. You randomly pick one. You read the question that has been asked. You answer the question. And from answering that question, we are going to look at your answer to that question and compare with what you have written as your core values. Don't mind the questions. These are not GCE questions. They are very basic questions. There is no GCE question there. It's very basic questions. So who wants to volunteer? If you don't, yes, I'm very happy when I see volunteers. Yes, please come up. 1, 2, 3, yes, 4, 5. The CEO of Lumina, 5. The lady with the glasses, 6. I think we will take 7 people. One more. I would have loved to see a male. Okay, yes, the lady with the purple wear, come up. So we are going to take it one by one. But please, can you just indicate your name? Because I'll take all at once. I don't want you people to start answering and looking at your values and coining your answers to your values. You know what you wrote, but you don't know the question that will be asked of you. So if you put your name on your value sheet, I'm going to collect it. Thank you. Then you go around. Just turn the cards. Let them pick one. Don't look at your cards yet. Just pick. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So don't look at your card yet. Just pick. And I'm going to randomly choose a name from here to start with. Okay, we're going to start with Desiree. It can either be Desire or Desiree. I don't know which one. Desire. Okay, all right, great. So we're going to start with Desire. Desire, please, you look at your card, you read your question. You can take a few minutes just to take in the question before answering. But you read the question out loud for all of us to hear. Microphone, please. Can we have a mic? Okay.
Okay, the question I have here is, what is one of the best gifts you have ever received?
Okay, Desire, please, you can stand in the middle. Yes, you can read the question again.
Okay, I have here, what is one of the best gifts you have ever received?
Okay. And I'm going to add on to that question and ask you, when you tell us that gift, what made it, what are the qualities that made you choose that gift as all the gifts you have received as the best? So you're going to tell us what the best gift is you have received. You're also going to tell us why you chose that particular gift as the best, or why you defined it as the best gift you have ever received. Please, can we put up the value slide back, the list of values? Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. The best gift I've ever received is a card, a written note card. And on that card, it was written there that you are confident. And that is what has stood out for me till today.
Okay, so why was that the best? So why was that, why do you consider that the best gift you have ever received?
I considered it the best gift I've ever received because I did not trust myself that much that I could even believe that I am confident. So I think the card gave me that courage to stand out and to speak out.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, from the crowd, listening to what she has said, can we guess or take, just random guesses on any one of the values that she may have picked? Just based on what she has said. Her question is not related to value. Her question is answering what is the best gift she has ever received. And she's describing something that is non-monetary. I would have expected maybe somebody say, I bought me iPhone S34 Pro Max with the triple camera underground, all those characteristics of iPhone. Or maybe someone bought me a car, or maybe I was able to take a particular trip or something. But she said a written note that says you are confident is the best gift she has ever received. And she said that is the best gift she has ever received because, one, she did not think that someone could see her as confident. And also, what was the other thing you said?
I did not believe in myself.
And she did not believe in herself. Now, based on what she has responded, what do we think one of the values she chose was? Confidence, right? And confidence is here. What else? Come again. Come again. There is courage, but courage is not here. Boldness is not here. Self-reliance is not here. Just because I'm saying it's not here, it doesn't mean they are missing it. It means that they are also helping you to identify the values that align with you, just based on that question that has been answered. So they are talking about, so you see that some of the values that are important to you, you have courage. Confidence was the number one thing, and that was very loud in what you have written. We have mentioned optimism. We have mentioned, what else have we mentioned again? Courage. Yes, we have mentioned courage. What else? We have mentioned boldness. So it doesn't mean what you have written here is not you, but it also helps to open up your mind to actually dig deep to the other values that you may not even be considering, as a part of you. And to read out what she has written, she has authenticity. I think from when she was speaking, we were all able to pick that up from when she was presenting about her organization. We also have confidence coming up very loudly. Determination is part of her value. Empathy. When she was talking about that card, because the person who wrote that wrote it from a place of empathy, wrote it from a place of understanding and compassion, and is here among her values, and also responsibility. So please, can we give Desire a round of applause? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you can have your list of values back. And I'm going to give the microphone to Mariella. Yes. Mariella will read out her card to all of us and answer. It will be good if you don't pick at your card beforehand. We have just spoken about responsibility. So let's just be responsible. Mariella, yes, over to you.
How has your life changed from a year ago?
Yes. How has your life changed from a year ago? You can give us any aspect you want to talk about, or you can generalize it, that's fine.
Okay. From a year ago, my life has changed so much because from a year ago, I just entered into the university. Now I'm in my I just finished my second year in the university, and I'm going to the third year. So when I just entered the university, that was 1 year ago. It was not really easy for me because what I started doing in the university is not really what I wanted to do. It's my mom who was like, that's what she wanted me to do. So since then, I've just been, like, when I just started, I was not really consistent in school because I knew that was not what I wanted and I was not interested. So when it came to school work and doing assignments, my friends will always be the one to remind me that, Madam, you have not done your assignment. And even when it comes to coming to school, at times when I'm going to school, I will intentionally go late to class because I did not want to be there. Then looking at the situation, I came to understand that my mother just wanted the best for me. And what I wanted to do, she saw it as, like, it was not really relevant for her for the moment. That then I came to discuss with her, and she explained her reasons why she really wanted me to do what I'm doing now. Because at some point, I walked up to her and I told her that, Mommy, see, you see this thing you're forcing me to do, I will not do it. I'm tired. I cannot continue doing what I don't want to do. Then she told me she thinks that this one is the best for me for now, because after a while, I can still go back to what I wanted to do. So since then, I decided now to concentrate in school, and even within myself and my performance in school, I have seen that I have really changed, and my perspective of seeing how life is and of seeing how I'm supposed to see things or to take things has really changed.
Okay, thank you very much, Mariela, for that response. Please, can we go back to the value slide? So what values do we think, from what she has answered, what values do we think is popping up from her? Because I'm sure as she's talking, you are seeing the values jumping up, giving up, coming up from her like an aura. What values do we think? Determination, yes. Come again. Humility, to listen to her mother, to talk and to understand with her mother, yes. Come again. Patience. So Mariela, I hope as the values are, as we are screaming out the values at you, you are picking out some other aspect of things that you did not write. Yeah. Among the things that you wrote, there is one thing I'm going to mention particularly, and that is perseverance. She wrote down perseverance. And from what she has answered, you can see that perseverance is really one of her core values, one of the things that have really shaped her, because she had to move gradually from not wanting something and understanding and really putting in her best and keying in with what she had to do. So Mariela, thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. They're already indicating for time, so I think we will take one more person. Excuse my left. I think we'll take one more person, but how do I choose? All the values here are so juicy. I don't know how to choose. Okay, Diane. All right, so can we hear from Diane? Diane, you read out your question to us. I will just plead that the other people will take their seats just because we have run out of time. I know it's something you would want to participate in, but we are getting the idea of how your values shape your daily life. You will help me give this back. No, just answer your question first.
Good afternoon, everyone. The question I have here is, what activity makes you feel alive? Wow.
What activity
makes me feel alive?
I'm going to add a question to that. Tell us why you chose that particular activity, because I'm sure there could be many things that you could choose from here.
Okay, the activity that I carry out that makes me feel alive is when I bring life into a soul, a dying soul. What am I saying? I come from a humanitarian background where we work with different persons and they have different situations, so painful and all of that. Now, as a psychosocial worker or a social worker, You don't join a program participant to cry with her when she's explaining her situation to you. Now, why? Because you need to be empathetic. You don't need to sympathize with her. Put yourself in her own shoe. Now, it makes me alive because it takes grace as a human being that you are, and seeing somebody going through what he or she is, and bringing empathy into it. You put yourself into that person's shoe, like, if this thing was happening to me, how would I have gone about it? Now, for me, as someone that is providing psychosocial first aid to a client, the very first thing, I bet you, for those that come from where I'm talking about, you understand better. There are situations you see that you feel like crying with the person, but you need to be strong for that person. You need to have that courage to be able to talk to that person and to bring life out of the person, to make that person feel like, despite everything that you're going through, there is still life. It takes grace to do that.
Okay, thank you very much, Diane. So she has said what makes her feel alive is actually helping others, I think, in a short summary. So can we pick out some values for Diane? Empathy, yes. Compassion, yes. Come again. Tolerance, yes. Selflessness. Come again. Toughness. So we can see that, Diane, I hope you are seeing all your values popping up for you. And among all that we have mentioned, she emphasized on courage, toughness, authenticity, creativity, and altruism. So can we give a round of applause to Diane? Can I have the card? Okay. So the main take home from such an exercise is to make you understand how deeply your values affect you in everything that you do. Even in things that you think are so minimal. Even in what you choose as your best food. Your values can influence what you have chosen or what you think as is your best food. You may think that, oh, just because it tastes nice or it's a food that I grew up with, but there are some certain values that influence that on what you choose as your best food. Who you choose is as your closest friend. What you choose to study in school. What you choose as a career path. The number of children you choose to have. The kind of partner you choose to marry. Your values influence you from very large things to very little things. And that is why they are so important when you have to build and guide and define what you want your community to be. Last slide, please. Please just move on to the last slide. Please move on to the last slide. So, in conclusion, the last slide. In conclusion, who you are, the community you choose to align yourself with, all stems from what values are important to you. So if there is something you need to go home and do, is to sit and really take a dig deep into yourself, that what are really my values? Because those values is going to define what you consider as important. Some things are maybe important to some people, and to others it doesn't mean much. It's because your core values are different. And we can see out of 50 values, picking just 5, it doesn't mean somebody's value is bad or is good. It's their value. And of course, we have negative values, which we are not talking about here. But all those things together define who you are and should define the kind of community that you build and the network that you build yourself, that you build around yourself. Your network is your net worth. The sum total of who you are is your network. Now, if we want to talk about spirituality and faith, who you are, whatever religion that you practice, I'm seeing, it seems there are a lot of Christians here, whatever religion that you practice is part of your network, because you surround yourself with probably people who are going to the same church as you, people who are serving maybe in the same department as you, people who have the same faith or doctrine alliances as you. So a sum total of that what you have in your family space, what you have in your career space is your net worth. Then in order to have a supportive network, you must be a supportive participant in that community. Like I said, don't only be a taker. You should not be known as someone who takes. You should not be known as that person that when they see the phone call is that he want to wait again. I was in a forum recently in Nairobi, and one of the leadership speakers said something that touched me so much. He said, build the relationship before you need that relationship. Don't wait until when you need something from the person before you start building a relationship with that person. Build the relationship before you need the relationship. Because by the time you will have a need that that network is going to solve, the relationship has already been established. So don't wait. Call people just to greet them. In our local context, those are some of the things. Somebody should not see your call, see your message and say, the one way he text me, so he really want to wait here. So you must not only be a giver, you must not only be a taker, you must be a giver. Show up for people. And like I said, don't feel like you have nothing to give. I recently lost my father a few months ago. And when I tell you that the way people showed up for me during that time, in fact, it was greater than the 500 francs or the 10,000 or 200,000 that you think you could send to me. Because some of them are people that, you know, when situations in life come up, I should be the one trying to help them. But they identified areas where they felt that they could make a contribution and came in and stepped in for me. Such people, if I ever see their phone call, my first thought will not be, is that what do they want, or if they call me for waiting. Because I have been in a situation, a relationship with them, where I was the receiver in that relationship and they were the giver. So you should not only look at it in terms of monetary value or in terms of position or in terms of power. You always have something to give. So in your community, you must be an active participant in your community. Never be shy to reevaluate and realign yourself at any stage of your growth. It is very difficult to break off from some certain circles in some certain stage in your life. Because you feel that, oh, I'm already at this stage, how do I go and form new alliances? But you must be able to reevaluate and realign. If we go back to the ABCs of using failures to turn them into opportunities, it is mentioned there. You must be able to analyze and reevaluate and realign at any stage in your growth. And last but not the least, you must put God above everything else. Because at the end of the day, all things being said and done, after all these things that we have said, there is the hand of God that crowns it all. Because someone can do all these things that we have said. Someone can, you know, we can say all the things, we can do all the things. But there's a certain element that the hand of God brings into your community, into your network, that makes a big difference. So don't ever neglect the role of your faith, the role of God, the role of your relationship with God in your journey and in building that community. Whatever community or network you choose to build, there must be an element of faith, spirituality in it. Irrespective, I'm going to say it this way, irrespective of the religion that you practice. I know maybe a majority of us are Christians, but irrespective of the religion that you practice, there must be elements of faith spiritually and spirituality in your network. I've come to the end of my presentation. I want to say a very big thank you for listening and for participating.
Thank you so much. I believe a lot of us have learned not just about values, but how the values apply to our lives. And we see how this big thing called values apply to, or they change the little things about us.